Hi everyone, hi, this is Natasha. So I just wanted to come and do something a little different, a little bit more conversational. This is inspired by the recent comments that Dr. Umar Johnson made on the Breakfast Club and subsequent comments made on another interview with Roland Martin. Those of you who don't know, Dr. Umar Johnson is a well-known professor. He's an educator. He is Pan-Africanist and calls himself unapologetically African. He's known recently for trying to fundraise and push to have a boarding school, I believe, for which caters to African American children, and will have its own curriculum, the works. If you Google, if you're not familiar with him, if you Google him, loads of stuff will pop up on YouTube. He talks a lot about child psychology, the effects of raising black children in the West and the like. But the recent comments that he made on the Breakfast Club were with regards to interracial marriages, and I guess that extends to interracial relationships as well. Well, I think more so interracial marriages. So they had a conversation, and he made a comment that in summary, that he couldn't respect a black man who wasn't married to a black woman, because in his view, love is political, and who you choose to marry, who you choose to spend the rest of your life with, is the most political statement that anyone can make. And in that interview, DJ Envy, sort of challenged and said, well, in his case, his family live in a neighborhood that has very low African Americans, very little African Americans in terms of numbers. So I guess he wouldn't be surprised if his son were to, fall in love with someone who wasn't African American. But Dr. Umar Johnson still stood firm in his view that, it's a political thing, and that there are many other communities who are very clear and, articulate that well to their children, the expectation to marry within their own culture, because he says that there's no one else who can understand the day-to-day struggles that a black man, and again, remember, this is focused on in America, but I think it could apply everywhere else. So he says that no one else can understand the day-to-day struggles. So I thought that was really interesting. It kind of erupted a lot of discussion online, and understandably, the politically correct thing to say is, you can't police love, and people should be entitled to be with whoever that they choose to be. I mean, at the end of the day, it's each person to themselves. So I live in the UK, where interracial marriages and relationships are the norm. I think probably more than in the United States. I don't have the actual figures, but just from my observation, in between the two countries, definitely, interracial marriages in the UK are the norm. People don't even bet an eyelid. It's not a big deal, as it were. So it was very interesting to me when I heard those comments. I don't have any sort of strong views on what he said, but I do understand what he said. I think especially when he said that who you choose to be with is a political statement, and not to say, I think in my view, it's not necessarily narrowed to colour, but it definitely is a choice that you are making who you're with. So I was interested to kind of know what you guys think about the comments that he made, and it kind of got me thinking to not just sort of interracial sort of marriages, because a lot of the conversation that's had in America sort of tends to focus on black and white, and sort of becomes race focused. But it kind of got me thinking to marrying across cultures, marrying across nationalities, what people's views and thoughts are on that. And the reason for me asking is, I am from Zimbabwe. I live in the United Kingdom and have lived here for almost half my life now, the people that I interact with for the most part are not Zimbabwean, not for lack of trying, but just geographical and locational logistics mean that I meet other people. And it's been interesting because it has sort of come up in the sense of, okay, you shouldn't be with ABC, you should be with XYZ. And you know, again, from my point of view, it's like, well, it's not that simple. But you know, I do sort of understand when people say it. I always think it's a bit harder in any case for women, because for the most part, in the traditional sense, you know, you're not the pursuer, as it were. But I was sort of thinking back to sort of African history and recent political history, and I think marrying across nationalities is actually more common than we know. I was sort of thinking of first ladies in South Africa. Nelson Mandela was married to Graça Machel, who is Mozambican and was the former First Lady of Mozambique. We had a previous Malawian president, I believe, who was married to a Caribbean lady. So when it comes to sort of cross-country sort of stuff, it's not really a big issue as the conversation around the conversation about marrying across race lines. But I was just interested in knowing what your thoughts are about what Dr. Umar Johnson said about, I mean, do you agree that love is sort of the highest political statement, not love, sorry, marriage and who you choose to be with is the highest political statement that you can make? Or do you feel that that's of a narrow view and it doesn't take into consideration other variables, like, you know, just love and who you vibe with? So just wanted to know what you guys think, and I may make a long video based on the comments that I get from this. So just what I'll do in the more information box, I'll put a link to Dr. Umar Johnson's comments in the videos to those comments. So interested to really know what you think about two things: about his original comments and also about you know, marrying across nationalities, what your experience is and what your thoughts are on this. So yeah, thank you, bye.